Hi guys, Coach Miranda here. Thanks for stopping by and giving me your email address and supporting me and all of that. And as promised, we've been talking a lot about hips lately, and the last post I put up about people's hips being really tight and having 100% of people that responded, which was a lot of you, tell me that you guys feel tight all of the time, made me really sad because there's so many ways around that, and no one deserves to be living in pain or restriction or tightness or weakness. So here's a little freebie for you guys of something you can do at home that doesn't require any equipment, no bands, just body movement in about 10 minutes of your time. So we're just gonna go ahead and get started. I'm gonna keep it pretty basic, and then if this goes really well and you guys enjoy it, I'm happy to do a little bit more and get a little bit more advanced. So basically, the hips are your powerhouse of the body. We have so many originations and attachments of muscles, tendons, connective tissue here that if this area is tight, aka weak in certain spots, everything else just tends to dive in on top of that and fold in on itself. And then next thing you know, we're kind of living in pain. So the more that we can address getting the hips tighter and more stable and more range of motion, the more you're gonna see kind of these aches and pains in the knees and the low back go away a little bit. You'll see your posture improve, your squats improve, your lunges, your day-to-day life, your gait would even improve, and I could go on and on about the benefits of strong hips, but we'll just leave it there for now, and we'll get into a little bit of a flow here. Now this is similar to a yoga flow, only it's focused more on strength and not so much stretch. So mobility means range of motion of a joint, and we want to get as most out of it as we can. And stability means the strength of a joint. So again, those connective tissues and tendons. We're gonna go ahead and start in a child's pose position. So from here, I want your big toes together, your knees apart, and we're gonna attempt to keep our sit bones on our heels. We're gonna walk it forward. From here, we're gonna roll the shoulders back and down. Your head can come on the mat. We're gonna add a little bit of strength into this. So as you inhale, I want you to press your palms into the mat, tuck the chin, puff up in between the shoulder blades, pause, and as you exhale, we're gonna come down out of it. And let's take a few here. Think about slightly tucking that tailbone as we come up and down. This is a nice, big, active child's pose breath, stretching into that back body a little. Awesome, couple more. Take it up. And then take it down, awesome. From here, we're gonna come up into a tabletop position. We're gonna bring our knees right underneath of our hips, turn our toes down, eyes at the elbows face each other, and we're gonna press away from the floor. There's that slight rounding in between the shoulder blades. Awesome. From here, we're gonna press back, stretching up that fascial line of the feet, pressing the hips back, and then come forward. Let's take this a few times. This also feels really good if you spent a full day in ski boots. Couple more. Perfect. Awesome. Let's take one more here together. Cool. Again, staying lifted, pressing away from the floor. We're going to extend that right foot back, and then we're going to press into that heel, shifting the hips back, and come forward. We're going to switch sides. So I'm staying nice and lifted through the back. My hip here, I am squeezing that glute strong so I don't fall into the side of it. Forward. Down, let's hit one more each side. Step it back, press the heel away, bring it forward. Down, one more. Step it back, press back, forward, down. Perfect. All right, from here, I'm gonna face you guys so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to bring my right foot out, my toes facing forward. You guys should already be in this tabletop position, pressing away from the floor. As I sit my hip back, I'm going to turn my toe upwards, stretching into those hip adductors, looking at my toe, and then coming forward. These are called adductor rollbacks. They are one of my favorite moves to do before and after skiing, and also right when I wake up in the morning. Good, let's take a couple more here. Send it back, toe up, look at that toe, pull the toes back. I want you to spread the toes as wide as you can. Awesome. Let's hit one more here. Cool. From here, readjusting the shoulders, press away. We're going to take our right fingertips behind our ears, still press away with that left arm, and we're going to open up the spine, rotate, and then close. As you close, make sure you're not collapsing into that left shoulder. Awesome. A few more. Perfect. You might even notice a little groin stretch into the left side. One more. Good. And down. Awesome. From here, let's turn those toes up. Toes are going to stay up. Hands can come to the hips. You can also have them out in front. We're going to tuck our back toes under, and we're going to sit back towards that heel, and then come up, keeping those toes lifted so that we're opening up that hip on the right, and we're getting a little bit of strengthening down that left hip flexor, left quad tendon. A couple more. Awesome. Perfect. Squeezing the glutes at the top. Let's take one more together here. Awesome. From here, let's switch sides. So adductor stretch, other side. We already know how to set this up. Press away from the floor, toe faces forward. As we rock back, toe's gonna face up, and we're gonna look back at that toe. If you're hearing any poppy noises, don't worry, that's okay. Typically when we move, noises in joints are normal. It's noises associated with pain that we need to be concerned about. You're always gonna notice one side's gonna be a little tighter than the other. And that's basically because bodies are not symmetrical. So the sides aren't going to be exactly the same. You always have a stronger side and a weaker side. One more. Perfect. All right, pressing away from the floor. Left fingertips go behind the left ear. Don't collapse into that right arm. And we're going to take those big T-spine rotations in this open position. Perfect. Big rotation around the spine. Good. Take one more. Perfect. From here, standing it up, hands to the hips, hands in front. We're going to squeeze that back glute, turn those right toes under, turn the left toes up. We're going to keep it there as we squat back, pause, and bring it up. We're also now pulling in a little bit more of trunk stability here. If you're wobbling around, that is okay. It's all right to fall out of things. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to get done. That's my rule with movement. Awesome. Let's take one more. Good. We're going to make our way down to our mat. This whole series is going to be done on the floor. And we're going to start with some shin box switches. So feet are out in front of you. You can take a wide stance, or if your hips are a little more narrow and tight, you can take it a little smaller. Tent the fingertips, we're going to sit back, and we're just going to shift side to side, pressing the inside of the knee down to the mat. Now this next series can get a little bit uncomfortable, but remember, it's not supposed to hurt. So go to your end range, which means going to your ending position that you can do with maybe a little bit of discomfort, but we don't want any pain. So don't push a movement that's not ready to be there yet. One more. Perfect. We're gonna have our left foot forward. We're gonna take a 90-90 sit here. So you can also prop your bum up on a yoga block. If you don't have a yoga block, you can use a throw pillow, a couple stacks of books. But with this one, we want to eventually get to this 90-90 position. This is gonna be tough to do for my fellas out there. You guys have a very narrow hip, so this series can be a little bit uncomfortable. Remember, make adjustments as you need. All right, so our feet are nice and flexed, and we're going to take our left hand, tent it out in front of us, and slightly sit forward onto that left hip. This gets the back hip nice and light. Hand on the hip, and we're gonna roll the hip forward, and then we're gonna press the hip down. Good. Just rolling through a little bit of internal rotation, and then back to a neutral spine. Take a couple more. Perfect. This is one of my favorite series to do. I do this in my class every Friday. Good. Awesome. Last one. Now as we roll back, fingertips are going to come behind us. If you're finding this position is simple, you can sit up super tall, elongate through the spine, and think about keeping the core nice and stable. This will make it tougher. But I'm tenting my fingers, and I'm sitting back. From here, I'm going to glue the inner edge of my back foot to the floor, and I'm going to lift up my back knee, pause, down. We're working external rotation, pulling in that glute med. Your glute med muscle is the driver of the hip. When that muscle is weak, that's when you notice that knocked knee position, and then when your knees like fall in towards squats. When that muscle is nice and strong, it's able to hold that femur open and help to keep the knees facing over the middle toe. Let's take one more. Good. From here, fingertips are going to move forward, so we're getting light in that back foot. Remember, you can also stay straight up. Now we're going to glue the inside part of our knee to the floor, and we're going to lift that back heel. We're working internal rotation of that hip. What we don't want is to rock the pelvis. You want to keep that pelvis nice and stable, so maybe your foot lifts, maybe you just will it to lift. But I promise the more you practice, just like anything, it will get better. A couple more. Good. Lift. Lift. Perfect. We're going to stay in this position. Hands going to come above the knee. We're going to lift up the knee. We're going to push the two together for 3, 2, 1. Bring it down. Perfect. We're working a little bit of isometric. That just means holding strength of that now front side internal hip rotators. Good. One more. Perfect. Hands come behind us. This is the toughest one. Again, either it's going to move or you're going to will it to move. Getting nice and light in that front leg. Flex the foot. And we're going to lift, lower. Again, we don't want to rock the pelvis here. So you might not lift up very high. It's okay. You don't have to. Couple more. Lift. Lower. Good, good. Sit 2 more. Lower. Perfect. From here, you can extend the legs out and go back into those shin boxes, or you can stay where you are, and we can hit 90-90 switches. Ladies, this one's a little bit more accessible to you because our hips are naturally wider and they sit in that open position. You can always put the hands behind and you can stay right here. That's totally okay. Let's take a few more. We're going to repeat this on the other side. Good. Getting that right foot forward. All right. Other side. Right shin is forward. Right fingertips are tented. And our left hand's on our hip. We're going to roll the hip forward and then push it back into that neutral position. Good, good, good. Roll it forward. Bring it back. Remember, this does not have to be perfect, nor should it be. Forward. Back. Couple more. So remember, this is accessible to you, and you want more core work, sit up. Otherwise, we're going to slightly sit back, tend the fingertips, and we are going to externally rotate now that left hip. Our inside edge of our left foot stays on the mat, and I'm just lifting up my knee. Now we don't want to cramp here, so don't lift up super high. Cramping's not good. Good. Let's take one more. Perfect. Shifting our weight forward, getting light in that back foot. Inner edge of the left knee stays on the mat. Belly button over the knee. And we're going to lift up. Good, that back foot. Now I could have you guys in this series for an hour, but again, I'm going to keep it short and sweet, and if we want more, next series through, there's so much stuff we can do from this 90-90 position that feels awesome on the hips. Good, 2 more. Awesome. Picking up that left hand, it's going to go right above that left knee. We're going to press the 2 together for 3, 2, 1. Bring it down. And when you're doing these on your own, say you want to continue with these series, I would do each one of these positions anywhere between like 5 and 15 reps through. Good. Lift. Lower. Let's take 2 more. Good. And we're going to go back to the 90-90 switch or the shin boxes. Either one works. This is that 90-90 switch. I'm pressing my knees to the floor. Bring them together, pressing the knees open. Another side. Shin boxes. We are rotating on the hips here. Perfect. Awesome. So there's a little mini hip flow freebie for you guys. If you have any questions, please click the reply to me button down below. I'm happy to answer them. And thanks for joining me today.